quedo golpeando con los palillos, la verdad. ¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes a todos. ¿Cómo les va? Bueno, a esta hora de la tarde ya no es lo mismo la voz que en la mañana. Voy a tratar de, no sé, a tomar un poquito de agua. Los voy a saludar a todos. A ver, primero. Rubén, que aparece ahí. Muchas gracias, Rubén. Prieto María Silvina. ¿Hay dos lanzamientos hoy? Sí. Teníamos por lo menos otro más de SpaceX. Voy a hablar con la voz un poco así más fina. Así no esfuerzo la voz. Sí, a las 4, dice Rubén, claro. En España debe ser tardísimo, obviamente. Para mí a las 23, dice María Silvina. Sigo Alfredo Bonet, desde Mallorca, España. Encantado de volver a disfrutar de otra sesión con el maestro Daniel. No, vamos a hacer una cosa ya. Sigo con los saludos, pero vamos a hacer una cosa. Hay imágenes del cohete, vamos a ponerlo, ¿verdad? Yo no soy lo más importante acá. Rosa, que saludaba, me va un poco mal de hora a las 11 de la noche, casi tirando a la cama, dice, pero bueno, aguantaré hasta que pueda. Recuerden que tienen una ventana de oportunidad muy amplia de 4 horas. Este es el segundo intento de lanzamiento de esta empresa. Vamos a verlo más grande. Es el segundo intento de lanzamiento. Pusimos una foto pequeña en la miniatura con el lanzamiento anterior, justamente donde, no sé si se acuerdan que hubo un gran problema y perdieron el cohete, la carga, una explosión, unas fotos espectaculares, terrible para la compañía. Entonces, no se la van a jugar en nada. Y esas 4 horas que tienen de oportunidad, las van a aprovechar todas. Si tienen algo que hacer, me encantaría que sigan, pero la gente de España, prepárese porque esto puede llegar a lanzar a las 2 UTC. Es realmente tarde ya en España. Rubén, ¿le pasó algo ya a Daniel que llegó tarde a la transmisión? Pregunta María Silvina. ¿Está bien? No, les cuento. Estoy tomando algunos medicamentos que requieren algunas necesidades rápidas. Y lamentablemente vine con el tiempo justo y cuando fui a prender el PC para iniciar el streaming, como los animales parece, se empacó, no quiso andar. Y bueno, yo desesperado porque me llegaban los mensajes de varios de ustedes por distintos lados, por Discord, por WhatsApp, veía el chat y la verdad no podía contestarles porque estaba desesperado para poder arrancar, pero no, está todo bien, estoy bárbaro, ¿sí? Sigo con los saludos. María Rosa saluda. Alfredo Bonet dice, me gustaría saber más del exofreno articulado caliente que incorpora este cohete. Esa es una pregunta espectacular para Juanex. Yo no sé si Juanex está acá. A ver. No ha aparecido todavía. Ahora lo buscamos, Alfredo. Yo no estoy al tanto, la verdad. Vi algunos dibujos, pero no estoy al tanto. Pero ahora lo buscamos. Obviamente, este streaming está saliendo gracias a Team Dodd y gracias a Firefly, que contrató a Everyday Astronaut para que haga este streaming, ¿no? Eso es lo mágico que tienen estas empresas pequeñas que están floreciendo, que están empezando, que tercerizan estos servicios en gente que hace las cosas bien, que hace las cosas muy bien. Team Dodd está transmitiendo en 4K. Lamentablemente no podemos hacerlo, Pero ya va a llegar el momento. Me encanta el sonido de este cohete.
En Tienda Mía te traemos el mejor sale de invierno de Estados Unidos. Ganale.
¿Por qué me pone el anuncio? Yo no puedo creer. Antonio, ¿qué tal, Antonio? Ibiza Bambán, Miguel Ángel Teti. Nelson, dice Rubén. Miren esto, el Saturno, qué increíble. Estoy tratando de hilar una. ¿Cuándo es el lanzamiento para la Luna? Pregunta Sebastián Madarnas. Claro, no entendía el mensaje de Rubén que le decía, ¿te refieres a la misión Artemis? Si es así, de momento no hay fecha confirmada. Correcto. La primera fecha estimada. Voy a bajar un poquito la música. Es el día 23 de septiembre. Ahora, dentro de muy poco. Estamos a 14 días. ¿Por qué no han confirmado? Bueno, primero, ya cambiaron todas las conexiones, los sellos, todo lo que perdía. Tienen que probarlo ahora. Hace unos pocos días, Jeffrey, que es uno de los capos de la misión Artemis, le preguntaron en una conferencia de prensa en la que estuvimos si ya tenían el permiso del range, la extensión del range para poder lanzar el 23 de septiembre. Y él dijo que no podía contestar eso, que no quería meterse en ese tema, que eso es un tema del range. Yo creo que internamente la NASA y el range ya tienen coordinado de que si esas conexiones que repararon, cuando las prueban, también le van a dar la extensión que precisan en el sistema de terminación de vuelo, el FTS, para poder hacer un intento el día 23. Pero no lo pueden decir, obviamente, porque primero tienen que asegurarse de que las conexiones no pierdan. Así que yo creo que el día 23 vamos a tener un intento de lanzamiento. Estoy haciendo futurología, ojo. Toño dice, ¿cómo estás, Master? De Ibiza Bambán. Abrazo gordo del infierno del Mediterráneo. Sigue el calor en España, yo no puedo creerlo. Bueno, acá tenemos una nueva ola de frío, ¿no? La mínima acá fueron 3 grados. Estamos prácticamente a 15 días de la primavera. La máxima hoy fueron 13 o 14. Bueno, esto fue el lanzamiento anterior, ¿no?
Hi, it's me, Tim Dodd, the Everyday Astronaut. Welcome to Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. I am here to bring you the official coverage of Firefly's second orbital launch attempt of their Alpha rocket. This is something I'm really excited for. Things are going amazingly here today. So let's actually start off with what we always do here at this channel, is showing you a little website called everydayastronaut.com and going to our pre-launch preview, which will give you guys a rundown on everything that we can expect.
Lo increíble de Tim. Vamos a estar en su página, el preview. Esta es la página de él, que está muy buena. Vamos a hacer una cosa. Vamos a poner la página de él mientras él la muestra. Porque la verdad, la podemos ver en completo. La vemos más grande. ¿Sí? No hay que no quiera ver a Tim. Lo podemos escuchar a Tim. Bueno, aquí tenemos los datos. El cohete obviamente es un alfa. El sitio de lanzamiento es Vandenberg, en California, de donde lanza SpaceX. La carga pesa 35 kilos. Va a estar en la órbita baja con una inclinación de 137 grados a 300 kilómetros de altitud. Nada es recuperable de este cohete. Va a caer en el océano. Es el segundo misión de Firefly. Se llama Hacia el Oscuro, to the Black.
You guys might have seen some of my content with them previously, an interview with their previous CEO, Tom Marcusic. It's honestly one of my favorite videos and favorite interviews I've ever done.
Acá tenemos el número de la misión. La misión anterior fue la 001, tal cual como está puesta, inclusive en la descripción del video. La descripción del video tiene el enlace para ver el lanzamiento. Un enlace corto, un video corto, para ver la misión 1, donde explotó el cohete. Rosa dice que está con 30 grados. Qué terrible, Rosa. Bueno, esta es la carga. Maestros al espacio. Este logo lo pusimos. Lo tenemos en la miniatura. Y tenemos una descripción de los satélites que lleva. Toda esta descripción, no esta misma, sino otra, está copiada y puesta en la descripción del video. Bueno, acá tenemos el perfil de la misión. En realidad, hasta el final de la misión es 1 hora 57. No sabemos qué es lo que Tim va a transmitir o no. Acabo de decir que el tiempo está bien para ir. Es compleja esta misión porque hay varias igniciones en la segunda etapa. Hay 2, por lo menos, lo que le agrega una complejidad a la misión.
This vehicle is capable of about a metric ton to low Earth orbit, so it's quite a formidable rocket. It's only taken 35 kilograms this time, though. Yeah, keeping it nice and easy just to test out the systems, make sure everything's good to go before they start putting larger operational payloads on board. So this thing's going to a 300-kilometer low Earth orbit at a 137-degree inclination. If you guys ever heard of that, I don't know if you guys know anything about rocket science, but basically if you had a... tense going bye-bye. Like I said...
María Silvina dice, en Rosario tengo familia, pero no con el mismo apellido. Ley Martínez, gracias. Con Joaquín de 5 años. Joaquín, 5 años combinando con papá. Un abrazo enorme, Joaquín. Gracias por estar con papá mirando esto, con Freddy. Obvio que sí, obvio que sí. Vamos, es lo que tengo acá. Mira que llavero me regalaron, mira. No se nota acá. No se nota. Ahora lo muestro en la otra cámara. La cámara creo que lo muestra mejor.
So 137-degree inclination.
Está.
It's something I've never seen before, so I think that's pretty cool. So, are they attempting to recover the first
Entonces, ¿por qué queda?
currently capability of Alpha? And so this first stage will actually be splashing down in the Pacific Ocean, as do most other launch vehicles. And of course, since it's a small sat launcher, you know, that's definitely par for the course. Will they be attempting to recover the fairing? And again, that's not a capability of
Sí, tienen 2 horas de ventana de lanzamiento.
new fairings. And again, this is only the second launch attempt of this vehicle. So this would be the second launch of the Firefly's
¿Quién
Alpha.
preguntaba eso recién?
The company altogether for Firefly. This is the first launch of Firefly in this year, in 2022. The 10th launch from
Rubén,
Vandenberg this year. So
Rubén, sí, sí, creo que sí.
I think they're going to get a lot busier here in the future. And this is the 116th orbital launch attempt of this year. That is a number that when I first started, paying attention to spaceflight stuff in 2014,
Bueno, lo que Tim está diciendo es que ese 116 AU en realidad es el intento orbital de este año.
The things that I did want to talk about, there's a handful of small sats and CubeSats on this, but I did want to talk about one in particular. It is the Teachers in Space Serenity payload, and I think we actually have a video of that. So we're going to play a little video to teach.
¿Dónde hacen el lanzamiento? California. En realidad el lanzamiento es en la base de la Fuerza Espacial en Vandenberg, en California. Juanix, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te va, Juanix? Bueno, tenemos una pregunta para vos. Alfredo Bonet preguntaba sobre el exofreno caliente de este cohete. Estaría buenísimo. ¿Querés entrar en el streaming? ¿Querés charlar un poco con nosotros? O si no, escribilo. Con mucho gusto.
Blockchain experiment into space. And what we're looking for is to test how we can communicate efficiently from the Earth to blockchain satellite, perform various types of transactions. This is the beginning of several types of experiments we want to do.
Están explicando un poco qué es lo que están llevando. Dice que este es el comienzo solo de lo que van a hacer.
Serenity 4, 5, and 6. I want to see what those are going to look like and what experiments the students
Está con mucha música. Lamentablemente no la podemos dejar la voz. No sé, generalmente Tim hace las cosas muy bien, pero no quiero arriesgarme a tener un pedido de copyright.
It's a pretty exciting payload that is on this rocket currently, but there's another one that I'm actually really excited about too. This one is called NASA's TechEdSat.
Dice que hay otro, hay varias.
We'll learn more about it here. We'll pull up a video here in a second, but I want to just kind of tell you why I'm excited about this. This is a NASA demonstration mission that's actually working on.
Es una demostración de NASA para desorbitar los pequeños cubos, los satélites cubos.
Down in a timely manner is extremely important. So this is a technology demonstrator, and so I think we've got a video here we can roll for you guys. Let's check that one out.
Nos va a mostrar un video justamente sobre eso.
NASA's mission is to help stimulate and advance commercial space. We collaborate with our young professionals within NASA, private industry, universities.
Vamos a poner los subtítulos.
To advance a lot of technologies and experiments. In this case, helping to supply a very quick
Dice que esto es un prototipo liviano de una serie de cubos incrementales. Es una forma de abrir el camino en eso, para reducir el riesgo en misiones, para poder ayudar a cambiar el clima, dice. Dice que quieren llevar el concepto de los nanosatélites a la Luna y después Marte, ¿no? Obviamente. Justamente esto es un freno. Es un freno térmico que te permite cierta cantidad de control en regiones donde hay atmósfera o resto de atmósfera. Podés comandarlo, dice la idea, por correo, ¿no? Qué nivel, qué increíble. NASA dice que lo está integrando acá porque es un tema muy estratégico. Lo está haciendo el Ames Research Center en el valle, en el Silicon Valley. Qué imagen esta, qué increíble. Parte de mi vida, dice, le están diciendo, ha sido tratar de hacer que la ciencia ficción sea una realidad, ¿no? En realidad no explicaron mucho, ¿no?
CubeSat on this mission, but there's also 3 other small CubeSat and small sats here as well. So go ahead again, read through our entire pre-launch preview. It gives you a really good sense of some of the exciting things on board, including a Firefly capsule filled with artwork as well. It's just really cool. And this, our website will also give you a rundown on the mission profile, the mission timeline, which you can kind of get a sense of where we're at here.
Ya lo vimos un poquito todo esto, ¿no?
On that terminal countdown in about
Vamos a ver qué es lo que dice.
Things are moving right along here. We have not heard any other updates. But yeah, so go ahead and read through this here. This particular article on our website was written by Flo, or Florian. So thank you, Flo, for writing this awesome article. If you guys want to read through that, just say thank you to Flo for writing such a good article for us, and our whole web crew for keeping everything up to date and keeping us in the know here while we're hanging out. So yeah, I have a few more. I know this is not normal for me. Thank you guys for watching. This is so exciting for me. We've been working really hard to be able to bring you guys coverage, working so closely with the amazing people at Firefly. They've been just incredible to work with.
Bueno, Tim Dodd está agradeciendo a la gente de Firefly justamente por confiar, y dice que está usando Luna, su camioneta van que está equipada. A mí me encantaría saber, ahí se ve la camioneta, me encantaría saber cómo la llevaron ahí, cómo cruzaron de la Florida hasta ahí. Sí que ha trabajado día y noche para eso.
If it was just me here, you guys would be like getting a iPhone video or something. So huge shout out again to Andrew running the show here and who designed the whole system, but Ryan Chalinsky with Cosmic Perspective. We also have Allie from Gravity Coast who did this incredible overlay that you guys see, which is just absolutely amazing. And I love how clean and tidy it is. We can add more information for you guys and all that stuff. And that's also all been programmed thanks to Mary Liz.
Exofreno articulado, dice PJ Exo que es que alza algo de afuera. No tiene muchísima traducción que lo que dice el nombre, ¿no?
Make sure it's integrated well. Our ability to put comments up on screen and all that stuff. I can't even tell you how long and hard everyone's been working out here. We also have Matt Welch on set. We had Ben Steinman helping design a lot of our networking gear. And then, of course, like I said, I owe a big thank you to the teams at Firefly and Space Launch Delta, who is the Space Force team out here, who's the range here, Space Launch Delta 30 for their support on this mission as well. There's a lot of moving parts to make a rocket launch, and I am the least of those parts. I'm just sitting here in a chair about ready to see a rocket fly. We're about 7.5 miles away, so that's what, like 12 kilometers away or so. It's going to be coming up, from my point of view, it'll be coming up over this mountain. I'm all dialed in. I am like
sacarle el logo al team, que no tiene sentido que lo tenga, ¿no?
Broadcasts have people like have the rocket over their shoulder, and the people have to be like, oh, there it goes, and I don't
Tim está explicando que generalmente la gente se pone de espalda para tener el cohete atrás, y obviamente dice, no, yo prefiero tenerlo adelante, mirarlo, disfrutar el lanzamiento y hacer los comentarios de acuerdo a eso, ¿no? Obviamente, bueno, está genial.
But yeah, so this was from Thomas PL1 was asking,
Es precioso este cohete. Precioso.
Because frankly, we thought this old NASA hangar was a little bit better background, which is really cool. We're literally, I gotta tell you a fun little story here. Vandenberg Space Force Base is an amazing place. There's so much history out here, tons of incredible launch pads. But perhaps one of my favorite things about this base is actually the fact that NASA was working on launching the space shuttle out of here. So Chris Bergen, there you go, you got your space shuttle reference. This base actually had the Enterprise come out onto the base. They landed it here at Vandenberg. They trucked it over. The craziest thing is they literally cut into the mountain that's in front of me, and they had to carve a path for the wings into the sides of the mountain in order to actually get that thing through this mountain pass. So when you drive up the road, you can actually see the mountains cut out and has these little notches in it where the space shuttle's wings went in order to bring it into the hangar here. Then from the hangar it was going to be processed and it was originally going to go out to Slick 6.
Está explicando un poco cómo es la base de Vandenberg, inclusive desde que trabajaban antes. Está hablando del Delta 4, está hablando del transbordador espacial. Y que está diciendo que Eric Berger de Ars Technica justamente que ha escrito mucho de la historia de ahí de Vandenberg. Quedamos a media hora del lanzamiento. Están en la costa oeste de los Estados Unidos, en California, en una base que se llama Vandenberg.
Clean pad that we see here today. It's just amazing to see how simplified this company has made their launch infrastructure, and just walking around that feels completely different than when I was out here what was that, 8 years ago or whatever. So very, very fun to see, and hopefully, and the weather is much better than the last time I was out here too for OCO2. I was, I think, only like 3 miles away, so 5 kilometers away from that launch, but it was so foggy.
Bueno, acá alguien dijo muy parecido al Falcon. Dijo Ricardo que bueno, sí, con algunas diferencias, obviamente. La capacidad de carga de esto son entre 1100 y 745 kilos. Es mucho más pequeño, o sea, a la órbita baja, ¿no? Es un vehículo pequeño, es más comparable con el Electron de Rocket Lab, de 2 etapas, utiliza queroseno ultra refinado de cohetería, o sea, RP1, y oxígeno líquido. Mide 29 metros por 1,80 m de diámetro. Totalmente hecho de materiales compuestos, lo que lo hace mucho más liviano. Acá hay una foto comparativa. Vamos a ponerlo. Esta es una foto comparativa entre el Electron y el Firefly Alpha. Para que tengan una idea del tamaño real, comparativo entre uno y otro.
I don't know if you guys know how hard it is to stream in 4K. It is not easy. It is not easy to do it well and do it right with minimal lag. I mean, the feed I'm actually seeing here is like only a few milliseconds from real time to my eyeballs, which is just incredible. And then of course YouTube takes a little bit of time to get to you guys through YouTube and through the cloud and stuff. But it's pretty low latency. And it's 4K and it looks incredible.
Bueno, él dice que está transmitiendo en 4K.
I do see it a lot. Right now you can see some condensation pouring off the rocket.
Muchas gracias, Javi, por esa donación. Javi Pelirrojo, amigo, ¿qué tal todo? Increíble, increíble, disfrutando de este streaming. Himno de Soncra, la verdad. Ustedes han hecho lo imposible, han conseguido lo imposible. ¿Cómo no voy a estar contento? Y bueno, en pleno tratamiento.
And you do that so it can densify, so you can get a ton of your oxidizer into the vehicle and into the oxidizer tanks. And then it has RP1, which is...
Es el hermano mayor del Electron, dice Mil Ángel Teti.
But in order to make the oxidizer liquid, you got to chill it down to be extremely, extremely cold. And that's what they do. So they actually chill it down.
El bar de la galaxia saluda. Recuerden, nuestro bot no permite que escriban en mayúsculas. Si quieren resaltar con los mensajes, nos ayudan con $1 por mes, se hacen miembro VIP y sus mensajes son destacados. Y tratamos de leerlo primero. Estamos a 28 minutos de la hora prevista del lanzamiento.
Them venting the gaseous oxygen to maintain the pressure in the tanks, because when it boils off, and imagine like a kettle boiling or any water boiling, you know, as it boils from liquid to
Bueno,
gas,
Rubén dice
you have to release that pressure
que el Falcon 9 es el hermano mayor también.
whatever containment vessel you have. Same type of thing here, liquid oxygen. If you warm it up, it expands, turns into a gas, and it expands almost 1,000 times. So you do need to vent it. So what you're seeing is still very cold.
No para de hablar, Tim, qué increíble, ¿no?
It's coming in contact with the humidity in the air. It's making some little vapor crystals. That's probably the longest explanation I've ever had there. Sorry if
La primera etapa de este cohete está propulsado por 4 motores que se llaman River, los cuales producen 736 kilonewtons.
As the vehicle does fill with liquid oxygen, you will actually see this vehicle is made out of carbon composite, so it's a carbon fiber rocket. And as it gets colder and colder and colder, and as the vehicle fills up, you will see the
Sí puedo hablar un poco mejor así. Lo que pasa es que me queda, uy, cuánta ventilación.
I'm excited to hear what exactly that is. That's a lot of stuff happening. We'll see if we can get an update on that.
Y se va a tratar de tener una actualización.
Well, we have another exciting thing for you guys. We are able to bring back trench cam for you guys. This time it looks even better than last time. That camera is going to be seeing a lot of crazy stuff. You can see it's in a
Dice las cámaras que tenemos. Miguel Ángel Teti, muchas gracias. Tenés que hacer tazas con el logo tuyo del astronauta. Las tenemos. Están en la tienda. Están en la tienda esas tazas.
Clear of the launch pad and launch infrastructure. So that's really, really cool. And can we show that?
Estoy viendo la tienda. ¡Wow! ¡Qué imagen!
We'll be able to show this for just a brief moment when they go to light these things, but that is the engine cam. So we also will be able to hopefully provide that right when they go for liftoff. So super exciting. I mean, these are camera views that, come on, this is absolutely incredible.
Con el logo del astronauta, este nuevo. Y sí. Sí, tenés razón. Claro, ¿cómo se me pasó eso? Lo vamos a hacer, sí.
No tap-off engine has ever made it to orbit, and frankly, I feel like today's the day. I feel really good about this. I think the teams feel really good about this. Yeah, those are the Reaver engines. The tap-off is really interesting.
Está hablando de que ninguno de esos motores todavía llegó a estar en órbita y que él tiene mucha fe en que eso pase.
They all utilize the same piston engine process, unless it's a rotary engine or something. But typically all run on the same.
Dice que cada uno de esos motores tienen Himalin, o sea, son comandables.
All these different tweaks to the familiar piston engine. It's kind of the same thing actually with rocket engines. At the heart of the rocket engine is the combustion chamber going through a de-Laval nozzle that converts.
Dice que es un motor de combustión simple. ¿Ah? Dice que tiene una sola turbobomba que mezcla todo. Y dice que el proceso de arranque es realmente complicado. ¿Ah? Los Merlin también, dice que usa una mezcla de ignición de TEAB y TEB, ¿verdad?, que causa una llama verde en el arranque. ¿Verdad? Dice que hasta ahora solo el motor V3 de Blue Origin utiliza este tipo de motores.
Propellant, and you actually flow it through a turbine. You spin up that turbine using the combustion engine, using the combustion from the engine to power the pumps, which is like the ultimate chicken and egg scenario. Like, how do you get the pumps running if the engine requires the pumps to run, but the engine itself is running the pumps? Like, it's the craziest thing ever, but it's actually a really unique, very simple, reliable system. Firefly has had, when I talked to Tarman Cusick last year, they had just basically said they had the absolute best luck with this engine so far. At the making of that interview, they had not even blown up a single one throughout the entire testing campaign because the engine's just so simple and reliable, yet very high power. That's the cool thing, is kind of get the best of both worlds. So I'm really excited about this. I think the tap-off cycle is an engine that I'm just excited to see fly. And I'm excited to see it fly with my own eyes this time. That's something really exciting. So, yeah, other than that, it looks like we might be having some problems with my camera. We might need to power cycle this camera here for a second, Ryan. But we've got a lot of things. Oh, so this is Jack Beyer, who is with NASA Spaceflight, is giving a shout out to Firefly, saying that Firefly let remote photographers put cameras basically everywhere, and that's what we are loving about this company so far, is their level of transparency.
Está comentando que esta gente le deja colocar las cámaras en prácticamente cualquier lado. Y Tim dice, la verdad, me encanta eso de esta gente.
And the transparency, it really shows that this team is confident and really that they're really excited about the system that they're developing. And it makes it easy for me to get excited, because obviously I believe that you get most excited when you learn something about stuff. And frankly, you know, I've learned a lot about this rocket in the past, but coming out here and seeing it in person, getting up close and personal with it, I actually touched it. I don't think I've ever touched an orbital rocket before, like, you know, right before it's about to fly. So I'm getting a little bit spoiled out here, but it's been very, very fun for them to be able to share that with us, and for you know, making all that stuff possible. So it's just been an absolute pleasure. So here's from Alan B asking the important question. Don't forget to look in the top left of your screen. You will see.
Estoy tratando de escuchar. Uy, a ver si realmente habla de qué fue lo que pasó en el anterior intento, ¿no?
Is go. That's all we've heard lately. I think we are within another. I think within another weather update here at any second, actually, right? Yeah, T-minus 20 minutes. Is that the next weather update? So we will get one final weather briefing here as the teams get ready to go into their internal go, no, go poll. And then we will share with you guys the updates on that. This is from Top Secret. This is an important question. Unfortunately, we don't have telemetry wired in for this mission yet. That was just one of those things that...
No tenemos telemetría.
We will definitely be able to do that, but it's actually really, really hard to be able to integrate all of that in our new system and with their systems. You know, there's just some talking that we got.
Dice que no tienen telemetría, que la van a tener en el futuro. Dice que es muy difícil integrar la telemetría de ellos, o sea, de la compañía, con el sistema de streaming de Everyday Astronaut, ¿no? Otra vez vemos una ventilación enorme. Dice, todas nuestras cámaras 4K están filmando a muy alta velocidad.
I don't know what it is about Vandenberg, but it's got a certain just feel to it. It's really cool. And the city of Lompoc is super fun. So, so this is actually a great question from Jochin, saying, did they ever release what went wrong with their first rocket's attempt? Yeah, we actually talked about it a good amount when I spoke with their former CEO, Tarman Cusick.
Bueno, acá están preguntándole si saben qué es lo que pasó mal.
To one of their Reaver engines, and he's just showing me the plug that ended up failing. There's literally a power connector that has, you know, like a twist lock power connector thing, and unfortunately, it actually rattled loose and the pin sheared, and it ended up disconnecting from the power systems on the rocket, and it shut down engine 2. So
Uy, le falló un conector de energía y eso hizo que se apagara el motor 2.
The way the rocket steers itself through gimbals, each engine can actually only gimbal on a single axis, and there's 4 Reaver engines on the first stage.
Yo no sabía lo que está diciendo ahora. Dice que cada motor en realidad se puede mover en solo 2 ejes, no se mueven los 4 ejes. Entonces dice que cuando se apagó uno, evidentemente quedaron sin una porción de corrección. Dice que es muy difícil poder mantener el control, obviamente, si perdés un motor. Qué cosa que rara en el diseño, ¿no? La verdad es que Tim es muy bueno. No, es un libro abierto. Es increíble.
They recertified all the connectors. They said that the connectors were good, but they realized the way it was mounted was actually in a higher vibration environment than they.
Bueno, dice que obviamente los conectores son buenos. Sí, yo he visto ese tipo de conectores que utilizan en la aviación y son espectaculares. Pero obviamente la vibración que se produce en un cohete es brutal y si hace que se afloja y de alguna manera no tiene redundancia, pasan ese tipo de cosas, ¿no?
And of course, this vehicle just hasn't had to go through nearly as much conditioning as the first one. So, I mean, I feel really good about it because the teams had the opportunity to go through absolutely everything, solve that problem. They already had that
18 minutos para el lanzamiento.
Before they had the official investigation done. The official investigation was like, yep, this is what we're doing. And
seguramente, Miguel Ángel Teti pregunta, ¿será que la ingeniería para que se mueva en los 4 será más complicada que en 2? Sí, obviamente, es el doble más complicada. Y peso, recuerden que una de las cosas importantes de este cohete es justamente eso, la reducción de peso porque está hecho de materiales compuestos, ¿no? ¿Cuáles son los 4 ejes de movimiento?, pregunta David. Bueno, en realidad están apuntando hacia abajo, pero puedes ir hacia adelante, hacia atrás, hacia la izquierda y hacia la derecha. Pero como son 4 motores, en realidad combinan solo para darle una direccionalidad, un control direccional en los 4 ejes, con movimiento solo hacia 2 lugares en los motores, ¿no? No, Juan Cusa, no. Es adelante, atrás, izquierda, derecha. Los motores están apuntando hacia abajo.
Of the space shuttle. For some reason, that just screams that era of my childhood. This would have been the early '80s before it got canceled. So, yeah. Oh man, Vandenberg. That would have been crazy to see. Because the cool thing about launching from Vandenberg, launching from the West Coast, is you do
16 minutos y medio para el lanzamiento.
North-south, you go over the poles basically for most launches, and no human has ever been on a polar orbit. So if the shuttle had flown, it's funny because the shuttle was the second opportunity for the U.S. to have a polar orbiting vehicle, because the Gemini program and the Mole laboratory would have been polar orbit as well. That got canceled. Space shuttle got canceled out here, so still no humans have ever gone into polar orbit. Yeah. So let's keep going here. Actually, maybe, Andrew, if you have it, actually, we're talking a lot about Vandenberg. We did have the 30th send us a cool video from the Space Launch Delta 30, who is out here with range support, supporting this mission here today, because there's a lot, you got to make sure everything's good to go, that there's no range violations, even, people in traffic, and people on base, but even the sky, the sea, I mean, everything has to be under consideration to keep range safety clear. So we actually have a video that was sent to us from Space Launch Delta 30.
Miguel Ángel Teti dice, creo que ya sé cómo funcionan. Funcionan de la misma manera que funcionan los motores de un dron. Por decirte algo, los 4. Una imagen. La misión, dice Ana, es hacer que el espacio sea accesible para todo el mundo. Bueno, sí, son 4 direcciones, no 4 ejes. Juan Cusa, correcto. Ese de los vehículos que están en Marte y los telescopios que están en el espacio investigando, dice Jaina Hernández. No vamos a hablar de ese tema ahora, me encantaría, pero no podemos desviarnos de lo que es el lanzamiento del día de hoy.
This is a fun little anecdote here for our audience. Again, if you're joining us, I don't know how I've been so lucky and fortunate enough to be able to provide this opportunity for you. on behalf working with Firefly. It's been amazing. But for us here at Team Everyday Astronaut, this is from Chris L. I'm impressed that Everyday Astronaut have managed to get from SLS launch in Cape Canaveral in Florida to Vandenberg, from Vandenberg from Cape Canaveral, Florida to Vandenberg, California. Even Google can't calculate the distance. It's very far. Ryan and I, from Cosmic Perspective, drove it in basically 3 full days, and then we had 2 little, we had kind of like a little half-day situation. But we knocked it out of the park, driving an old news van across the country. That's how we're able to provide you guys this feed. It was quite the journey. But yeah, it's definitely worth it.
El tema es que
looking at a vehicle that is
moviendo hacia un lado y el otro, los laterales, eso permite que el cohete tenga control en toda la dirección, hasta que haga giros inclusive. Claro, si pierden un motor, el gran problema de Firefly, de este cohete, realmente que tiene solo 4 motores. Si pierden un motor, pierden un cuarto de potencia. Es muchísimo. Ese es el gran problema. Y también pierde control direccional. No pasa lo mismo con el Falcon 9 o con el Electron, que tienen 9 motores. O perdés un motor ahí, perdés una 9ª parte de la potencia.
From Los Angeles, but I think you should try. I think you should try. Thank you so much from that taco guy for the gas money. We really appreciate that. From Ben Glasgow wants to know, if I were a rocket, what rocket would I be and why? Well, rockets are meant to fly, so I think, if I had to be a rocket right now, it'd be this rocket because it's right about to fly.
Estoy leyendo el chat también, por eso a veces paro de hablar. Es pequeño el cohete, dice Miguel Ángel Codesal. Se nos colgó Tim. Esta internet está bien.
A really exciting rocket that's right about to take off. So I'd want my first opportunity to fly. So I'd be Firefly's Alpha rocket. And carbon composite.
12 minutos, Rosa. ¿Cuánto falta para el lanzamiento? Teóricamente, 12 minutos. Teóricamente. Está aquí.
I feel like this is an appropriate question. How is the internet in the Luna van? Is it fiber? Yeah, it is. It is fiber. We're literally piped into, I think, about the best internet you can have. And even despite that, sometimes things get ornery. We don't exactly know.
Pablo dice, llega a carga útil, sí, 35 kilos. Lleva unos pequeños CubeSats.
See what that issue was, and we don't know why that happens. We didn't lose any data up in the cloud, so it's actually a handoff from Teradek to YouTube. That's the issue. I actually have this little chart right here. It shows perfect data going up into the cloud. So hopefully we get that figured out here at some point. We do have an update. That prop load is complete. So we are waiting. Our next milestone that we're waiting for at this point is to hear confirmation of a good go, no go poll, so we can give you guys any updates.
No lo veo, dice. Estoy con el móvil y sin gafa, dice Adrián. No entiendo cuál es la pregunta, Adrián.
What is the launch visibility like on the West Coast? You likely will not be able to see it, too far away. If you're too far away from Vandenberg area, from Lompoc, you won't be able to.
Técnicamente estamos a 10 minutos de lanzamiento.
Specs of the rocket on the side of the screen at some point, because it would be kind of fun to talk about the size and stuff like that. So actually we have that. Yeah, look at that.
Bueno, ahí colocaron las medidas.
So it's almost 30 meters
A
tall.
lo que tenga dudas. Casi 30 metros, casi 2 de diámetro.
Small sat launchers. This is actually
Oxígeno y
small
Sean,
vehicle. It's coming up
4 motores River
vehicle sizes.
y un motor Lightning 1.
So 6 feet wide. So if you're like I'm just under 6 foot tall, I could walk straight down the fuselage of this vehicle. It's again quite large actually. The propellant for this vehicle is LOX and RP1. So we sometimes we call that Kerolox. So kerosene and liquid oxygen. That's what this vehicle uses on both stages. Then there's 4 Reaver engines on the first stage of this vehicle, and
Que no ve la cuenta regresiva, sí, está muy pequeña. Vamos a poner una nuestra, a ver si la podemos hacer.
Tap-off cycle, which again, I think is super cool, and I just can't wait to see it fly. So, I didn't quite catch what they're saying on comms. Do we have any updates here? Confirm. I can hear it, but I can't talk and hear at the same time. I'm not that talented. So, let's see. This is a good question here. This is something that the range gets to deal with. Being a new rocket, is there a bigger radius than normal around the pad that's closed off in case something goes wrong to avoid injuring anybody? So,
8 minutos y 20 segundos. Se escuchó una voz en el fondo que dijo eso.
The vehicle is topped off, and they're basically going to begin pressurizing the rocket to be able to, be ready for flight status. So you do have to pressurize the tanks up to operational pressure. So, but yeah, back to this question. The good thing is, the range gets to clear off Vandenberg Space Force Base, which is already a closed off area. So as far as the ground closures, it's relatively easy because it's a controlled environment already. They set up radiuses and stuff like that. But again, this is flying a pretty unique corridor because it is flying west. So there is particular considerations there for the range to consider with closures for marine traffic and air traffic as well. But I don't know if the actual size, because it's new, is any different or anything like that. But there's definitely considerations when it is the first time a company, or in this case, the second time a company is going for orbit. There definitely are some considerations, So I don't know exactly what those are, but this is on a Space Force base in California. So there is a large perimeter away from any public areas. So let's see. I'm kind of getting some updates here, so I'm really excited because things are looking good. I just want to confirm to our teams that we have cameras rolling and things. We're going to be ready to go on our high-speed cameras. We have everything looking good. So, yeah. Let's see. So from Solaris, this is kind of something I talked about briefly. What major modifications have been made since the previous rocket? So that's actually what's pretty cool. To be honest, they didn't really have to upgrade or change too many things on this vehicle. Their design was really quite impressive. Right,
trabajando para colocar un contador acá nuestro,
for orbit already, but they had the opportunity between flight 1 and flight 2 to kind of clean some, like for instance the engine bay and some of the plumbing and wiring and things on a first dev flight. Were a little bit more like breadboard style, where you have easy access to things and they're easy to work on if there's a leak or something like that. Things are just relatively easy on the very first rocket, and they were able to clean some of that stuff up on the second rocket already. So those are some of the things that they were able to fix and just kind of clean up. But hardware-wise, it's virtually the same. They just made some small tweaks here and there, but yeah, that shows the confidence of the design and the system overall.
Strong back retract will be at T-minus 530.
So we are about to see the strong back retract in about 20 seconds. So that's the thing holding onto the rocket, the thing that takes the rocket from horizontal to vertical, and it has the clamps holding onto it, it has the umbilical systems. We're going to be looking here and observing here in about 5 seconds, looking for that to recline just a little bit, which gives freedom and room for the rocket to lift off. So this is a really good sign. I just heard strong back retract is beginning. There it goes, clear as day.
Se está retrayendo el brazo. Atención,
Amazing. So yeah, that's a good sign, my friends. That is a very good sign. So now is reclining into its
Una muy buena noticia.
and as you know,
Es una muy buena noticia. Chequeos finales. Estamos a 5 minutos del lanzamiento.
Okay, so they're going for it. They're T-minus 5 minutes.
Estamos a 4. Bueno, en realidad la cuenta regresiva es distinta, Estamos sincronizados.
So yeah, you can see now, it gives room for the rocket to go vertical and gives room for the umbilicals, which are how they fuel and power the rocket. While
La vamos a sacar.
Gives those a chance
La vamos a sacar porque
clean and pulled away. So,
estamos un poco desfasados. Son 4 minutos 35 segundos. Es el momento de ponerse auriculares, Avisarle a los vecinos que vamos a subir el volumen, ¿eh?
They're literally on track to
Esperemos
launch
que
the
Tim
opening window
deje de hablar
of
un
their
poquito.
second attempt ever. This is incredible. How can they have this kind of timeline management already for such a new startup company and a new vehicle? I mean, this is stuff that you only see companies that have been launching for decades to be able to receive this kind of cadence and this kind of...
Gracias a la barra de UTE de Pando.
I'm not saying that to
Gracias por
brag,
estar
I
ahí.
promise. This is genuinely just...
Está bueno tener una barra en UTE, ¿eh? Sé quién llamar.
FTS, send ARM enable 1 command to all ESADs.
ARM 1 sent.
FTS, send ARM enable 2 command to all ESADs.
ARM 2 sent.
FTS, confirm that all ESADs are enabled.
FTS confirms all ESADs are enabled. Fly safe.
You heard it there, guys. FTS is enabled, so flight termination system is enabled. They are going for launch. We need to do one more thing here at Everyday Astronaut. We have a little tradition.
Confirm your monitoring fuel bleed.
We need to check that the pointy end is up and the flaming end is down. Let me tell you guys, I've had a good amount of time around this vehicle. I can confirm from our end that the pointy end is up and the flaming end is down. So that's confirmation from me. There's the pointy end, and there's the flaming end. Boom. Pointy end up, flaming end down. From our end, us casual observers, this thing looks good to go. You can see
3 minutes, fuel bleed is starting.
fuel bleed, so you can see the engine's getting ready to cool down to be able to...
Go, no-go at T-minus 2 minutes. Any no-go at this time is an automatic abort.
This is Prop. I can confirm flow and fuel bleed.
Bueno, 3 minutos, ¿eh? Atención.
I believe we hold this for 90 seconds.
Va a ser un hold, parece, de 90 segundos.
Will de-energize.
T-minus 2 minutes. This is the final commit for launch.
2 minutos. En realidad el T de Tim dice 2:14.
This is a very big thing here, that T-minus 2 minute poll.
Van a hacer la cuenta, o sea, el chequeo de 2 minutos, parece, ¿eh? Go, no go.
Chief Engineer,
Send it.
Correcto.
Launch Director,
Go for launch.
Rock,
Range green.
12.21, confirmed, buying off. T-minus 1 minute and 50 seconds.
1 minuto y 50 segundos.
I can't believe this. They're going for it already. Like, how are they doing this? I mean, we are T-minus 1 minute 30 seconds. We're looking go for launch.
T-minus
I
130.
can't believe this.
No puedo creerlo, dice Tim Dodd. Están lanzando desde California.
Trying to do
Mándenme
a little
segundo
extra bonus
intento.
cam action here. For us.
Segundo intento de Firefly Alpha.
Close alarm.
Abort.
Abortaron.
These
Abortaron.
CubeSats at 1700 PSI.
Abortaron.
Abort.
Abortaron.
Aborting.
You heard it, guys. We have an abort. We will stand by for more information on why that was.
Bueno, faltando 50
Abort
segundos.
actions at this time.
So they do have a 4-hour launch window here today, so don't call it
Confirmed there are
yet.
no fires on video. Confirmed.
Dice que tienen 4 horas.
Stop. Please close NV 598599 Alpha Bravo. BC, confirm the following prevals are closed.
Confirm prevals are closed.
Helium bubble is active.
Bubble is active.
S1 fuel tank is maintaining between 30 and 36 psia.
Confirmed.
Verify all other tanks are vented.
Confirmed.
GC, please verify the T-type tank is vented.
T-tip tank is not there. Confirmed.
Is it below 100?
Bueno, el brazo,
We'll keep-
T-tip.
Go
el
ahead.
brazo de seguridad lo va a agarrar. Viendo.
Please open TV 605.
TV 605 open.
Verify that the TVC tank is vented.
It's venting.
Verify swim system is vented and cavity purges are active.
Tienen 4 horas de ventana de oportunidad de
BC, please
lanzamiento.
verify
¿eh?
the C-REO is in the release safe state.
Tienen 4 horas de oportunidad de lanzamiento. Team 2 está escuchando.
Confirm C-REO is
justamente a ver si se entera de por qué. Pero lo que están haciendo ahora es poniendo, lo primero que hacen es poner el cohete en un modo seguro.
So you guys are hearing there, you guys have heard that they have gone for they've called an abort, but again, they have a 4-hour launch window here. So that was right at the top, right exactly at the top of their launch window. They called an abort. And actually, again, this is only their second launch attempt ever. So, there's a chance that they have an opportunity to reset, and hopefully we still have a chance to fly today. We will await a new T0 time here for you guys, and we will get you guys updated on that as soon as we know anything. But currently, we are back in a hold, which means the teams get...
Y me acaba de poner un nuevo T0 de 1 hora 2 minutos. Dice que realmente tienen tiempo para hacer.
My heart was absolutely racing. So this is an opportunity. This is what's fun about these kind of streams, is that we get to tell you guys, we get to chat and hang out. Because after all, spaceflight is a bit of a spectator sport for some of us here. We get to enjoy rocket launches, talk spaceflight history, talk aerospace, talk rocket science. And I get to kill time with my friends here as we learn what exactly is going to be happening here. So again, we are just awaiting more information and what's going to happen today in today's 4-hour launch window. So again, thank you all. If you are watching, please continue to watch, because hopefully we'll learn more about today's launch attempt, see if there's another opportunity in this window. But also, you guys, this is a really exciting opportunity for this launch company. And I know it means the world. They literally have... So many employees have come up to me and just said how excited they are to be able to share this with people, and how much it means that people are watching the hard work that they get to do. I mean, I know I'm just simply a conduit to be able to provide this stuff to you guys. But really, you guys watching and cheering for this company just really means the world to everyone working on this vehicle. I've just had the opportunity and the pleasure of meeting so many people, and they all say that they're so excited that we get to share this with the world. So let's hear it. Just give a hand for them for aiming for minute like T0 right at the top of their launch window.
No está diciendo nada. Sería muy bueno saber qué es lo que va a pasar, qué es lo que va a hacer.
Thank you again to everyone for watching.
Está agradeciendo a todo el mundo.
More and more here, and we'll update you guys as soon as we can. But meanwhile, we want to give you guys a few extra questions here. So this is from Budarowski saying, Tim, what's the difference between the Firefly Alpha, Beta, and the new Antares first stage? Thank you, Tim. So right now, the rocket that they're flying at the moment, this is their first rocket. This is their opportunity to learn a lot on a little bit smaller scale. The Beta rocket will be a lot larger.
Tienen 4 horas de oportunidad de lanzamiento. En realidad, creo que lo que tenemos que poner es un cartel de demorado y no de scrap. Todavía no fue un...
So it doesn't even share the same exact engines, but it does share the same engine technology.
Vamos a hacer esto. Vamos a sacar el cartel de demorado.
So I don't know yet if we're going to see it first on Antares or if we're going to see it first as the Beta rocket. I don't know. I'll try to learn about that, because that's going to be really exciting. I mean, seeing how developed this system is already for its first attempts is awesome. So I can't wait to see them scale up and continue doing big things. But the cool thing is
Tuca, buenas noches. Gracias por haber estado acá, Patuca.
Because there is a demand for this larger, for the small sat rockets, but having a little bit more capability means they can fly, larger small sats, and even be able to use them in tandem, where we can literally launch, like, say, 2 or something, and still have a dedicated ride to very unique and particular orbits. That is a capability that ride sharing can't do. So they think there's a nice niche there. A lot of people think there's a nice niche there. There's a lot of upcoming rocket companies working on this exact market. So they think, by all accounts, they'll continue flying Alpha even when Beta's...
Claro, no tenemos un cartel de aborto. Estos carteles son de cancelado, scrap, RUD y demorado. Por eso pusimos eso.
Pretty cool. We aren't able to show all of them, but we can show some of them, and at particular times we'll be able to do exactly that. So, yeah.
This is from Corias. Thank you so much. I appreciate your chat. Saying, welcome to Cali, Tim and crew, pointy end up, flaming end down. It's so fun seeing that.
La parte buena de esto es que todavía está ventilando. O sea que están reciclando el oxígeno líquido que tiene el tanque de cohete, lo cual es buenísimo. Así que no cancelaron.
Space is not easy, and we're seeing them knock it out of the park so far, just even getting this vehicle on the pad and fueled up and going for a launch attempt this early on. Very, very impressive. This is cool. I love seeing these kind of comments. This is from, I'm going to totally not say this name correctly, but Wisiv Rees says, Hi Tim, thanks for inspiring me to pursue a degree in aerospace engineering.
Ángel Encao dice que tiene que levantarse en 6 horas. Wow, Ángel, gracias por haber estado igual acá. Un abrazo enorme. Pero a dormir. Esto creo que va para largo.
I'd be out here just totally nerding out. I would have probably a same tent or an umbrella and a lawn chair, watching rockets fly and just screaming at them by myself. This is my opportunity to be able to share this with you guys. Hope you guys come along for the ride and hopefully enjoy this as much as I get to enjoy it, which is an immense amount. This brings me so much joy. Seeing a rocket fly is one of my absolute favorite things, but what's even more exciting is when you learn how they work. When you learn some of the details that engineers get to, the problem solving they get to do, the little bits here and there, like all the little secrets of, even like things like liquid oxygen. It's just insane to me that there's fuel on board this vehicle that's so cold. You know, if you went up and touched the side of the rocket right now, your hand would like stick to it because it's so cold. Just all these amazing facts and things about spaceflight get me excited. And the more I learn, the more I appreciate how hard people work and how brilliant people are. There's humans out there that are just so insanely brilliant, I can't even comprehend. And to be able to problem solve and make it so you can put things into orbit, just simply crazy. So, yeah, it's my pleasure. I love hearing that people are out there, looking for and working on degrees in aerospace engineering and things like that. Really makes me smile. So thank you for saying that. Yeah. So this is actually really cool.
Sana dice, mientras tanto voy lavando la vajilla. Gracias, Rosa. Te veo fenomenal. Gracias, saludos. Muchas gracias por tu donación, Rosa. Gracias por el apoyo de siempre, la verdad.
If you go around the rocket, it actually says Alpha on the 4 engine covers there. Fun little Easter egg. I think that's super cool. Which I just think is awesome. So the teams have had a lot of fun with that as well. So let's get to a few more. Again, thank you for those of you that are super chatting and doing members. I really appreciate that stuff. That really helps us here at Everyday Astronaut be able to provide you guys this kind of coverage.
Nico dice que la demora era por un partido de un clásico. No.
Since this is Firefly's live stream. But just know from the bottom of my heart,
muchas gracias, Ángel, un abrazo.
And the support goes a long ways and makes this stuff possible. Because it's gas prices these days, driving across the country is definitely expensive. So it's just this is an opportunity that we absolutely could not pass up, though, to be able to put cameras on a launch pad with a rocket on it that's about to take off. I mean, 4K, come on.
Tim está lejos del cohete, sí, obviamente. Pero tiene cámaras, digo, con telescopios, tiene una cantidad de equipos impresionantes. Firefly es la empresa, el cohete se llama Alpha, es una empresa nueva. Este es el segundo intento del lanzamiento orbital. Fallaron en el intento anterior y me explicó hace un rato. Voy a bajarle un poquito más el volumen porque es demasiado como habla, la verdad. Quiero escucharlo porque a veces si no perdemos cosas muy interesantes. Pero explicó hoy que en el primer intento de lanzamiento un conector, o sea, un enchufe que lleva potencia a uno de los motores, por las vibraciones que se producen brutales durante el lanzamiento, se aflojó y dejó de llevar la energía a ese motor, que dejó de andar. Este es un cohete que tiene 4 motores los cuales confían en cada uno de ellos para hacer justamente el control direccional. Entonces no solo perdieron un cuarto de la potencia, sino que perdieron también el control direccional. Por eso el range activó el sistema terminador de vuelo, el FTS. Sí, Tim tiene un muy buen video de Luna, se llama la camioneta LANZAM. Ahora a mí me llama la atención si realmente cruzará de costa a costa con la van o si la manda en tren o en camión.
Quite normal, and it's just a way to maintain it and continue to have the pressures be perfect. I don't know if any of them would ever totally close entirely, because I think it's just kind of an ongoing modulation, you know, so a dynamic.
Ese lanzamiento fue en septiembre del año pasado. Vamos a verlo.
When I see stuff like this, can I give a shout out to Jordan Y from Texas, who works at Firefly and helped manufacture the rocket? I can't do too many of these because there'll be a million, but this one made it into our chat. So from Ashley Davis, Jordan Y, big shout out from Ashley Davis. And I gotta just say again, shout out to the teams at Firefly. It's been so fun to see them work on the vehicle and get this thing ready to fly, get this whole system put together. And again, seeing their facilities out there in Austin, Texas. Both their main campus is incredible, where the engineering happens and their mission control and things like that. But Briggs is where, so in a previous life I used to work on cars and motorcycles a ton. And going out and seeing Briggs, where they're building and testing, like these are people in like machine shops, just getting their hands dirty, literally working on space flight things, you know. And I think a lot of people, I've talked to different people that a lot of them did come from like the automobile industry, come from racing and things like that, having racing backgrounds that went from precision manufacturing, precision tooling, and precision mechanic work, from cars and high performance vehicles to even the most, in my opinion, this is about as high performance.
Primero que van a notar en esto, obviamente, es mi voz.
Of horsepower. I mean, come on. This is about as cool as it gets. I get the bug when I walk through a factory like that, and I walk through a machine shop like that. I get the bug. I want to tinker. I want to help build and things like that. I gotta say, it's very inspiring. If you are someone looking for a job, this is not they're not telling me to say this. I promise. This is just me. I would go out there and I'd be looking in LinkedIn for some positions. I know that Firefly's got.
Vamos a poner justamente.
Available. If you're looking for a job.
Vamos a poner justamente el lanzamiento anterior, la misión anterior donde realmente.
Ahí nos dice Diafragma 21, pobres satélites, ¿cómo se les ocurre poner satélites en un vuelo de prueba? Y bueno,
estamos 10 segundos para el lanzamiento. Se vio clarísima la llama verde en el encendido.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zulu.
RC transition operation procedures to PRCLP 1435. IT commence PRCLP 1457. Reporting anomalies. Please confirm I have no fires on the pad. I have no visual. Please confirm no fires
pudo
on the
haber
pad.
sido la cámara que no asimiló los colores. No, en este caso,
I'm about to send them all.
Cuando se da la ignición de los cuatro motores, tiene que verse una
Cameras are sweeping the pad.
Plus 32 seconds.
Es lo normal eso. Sí. Dejan que se suma nuevamente, arregló su Prex.
Prop is nominal.
Oh my god, they're doing it.
GNC.
A ver, Tim dice que hay una declaración oficial de Firefly.
Hay.
Aparentemente
there's no fires on the pad.
Avionics.
Responding AVI.
Estoy escuchando los comentarios de misión de control, a ver si hay algo que pueda decir por qué sucedió esto en el cohete.
Telemetry is nominal. This is their first ever attempt at going to space and going into orbit ever. And they're coming up right now on maximum aerodynamic pressure. That is the moment where the vehicle will experience
plus 130.
the most amount of aerodynamic pressure.
Bueno,
So this
mencionan
is
que
when
hubo
it's-
una anomalía
this is when you're really testing your
durante el
fuselage.
ascenso y que
Is
van
it
a
going to hold
investigarlo.
up? We are going through that right now. So the vehicle is
No hay mucho
clearly
más.
holding up.
Vemos que la
That is
cámara
a
que está
great
dentro de la
milestone.
carga
You
de
might
pavo
even
se
hear Max
mueve,
Q
se
call
mueve
out
mucho, ¿no?
on the
Not yet
comms net.
supersonic.
Not yet supersonic. That's maybe
Sí,
not
eso
great.
tiene cierto movimiento,
The vehicle, there's a
pero,
chance it
pero
could be
bueno,
slightly
quizás no,
underperforming, but again,
no está fuera de lo nominal. Eso en
Bueno, hay que
particular.
ver porque a
but
veces
again, we'll wait to hear official call outs here. But this again,
vamos a
first
seguir
launch
mirando
time
porque
ever
se viene el
of this
momento
vehicle.
final, ¿no?
It's unbelievable. They got off on their first try on their first day of their first attempt
De todas
ever.
maneras, es increíble lo que hicieron, ¿eh?
This is unbelievable.
Sí, no, realmente es un logro
Again,
de
if they
todas
get to
maneras,
stage
por, a
separation,
pesar
that's
de que
going
sea
to be
una
a
falla,
huge
es un logro para la
milestone.
empresa.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Y los datos que han recopilado.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Totalmente. Está supersónico en este momento. Yo había dicho que justamente un minuto atrasados. O sea, no aceleró como tenía que acelerar.
Anomaly.
Vemos que cambian las llamas, ¿no? Y
Move the
vas a
anomaly
eso.
team to procedure MLP.
Y explota, detona. Hay que ver si justamente esta explosión es comandada o no, pero bueno, de hecho es la misión terminó. Todo un momento de mayor resistencia aerodinámica, o sea, de mayor estrés. Una cosa que puede haber pasado, digo.
Todo lo demás son conjeturas. Lo que pasó ya lo sabemos. Justamente la falla del conector.
All right. Let's see. This is T Burns wants to know what's the purpose of Firefly anyway. This is the first time I've heard about it. Well, there's a race, my friend. There is a race to fulfill the needs of customers. There's so many new startup companies that have payloads that are trying to get to orbit. I mean, there is literally like a laundry list, a backlog of countless payloads that are trying to get to space because a lot of people have new ideas, new demonstrations, new ways to communicate, new ways to observe, new ways to look at the planet and study things like climate change.
El lanzamiento fue en septiembre del año pasado. Fue el primer intento.
Literally working on satellites that are still trying to find a way to get to space as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. So the race is on still for a new crop of payload payload services. So that's exactly, Firefly is positioning themselves to be a staple in the launch industry. So, basically think about it here in the U.S., the most common, there's USPS, the Postal Service will deliver your packages, but there's also, of course, FedEx, and there's UPS. Globally, there's a handful of companies that deliver a package to a destination.
Ponerlo claro, acá 3 de septiembre del 2021. Fue la falla en la misión FLTA002. Esta es la 002.
Getting things into space, and the race is on right now to be the first to be able to provide those services. So, yeah, Firefly can certainly fulfill those services for a huge crop of vehicles. So, yeah, super cool. Let's see here. I'm actually going to probably take a little bit of a break while we wait for an update here from the teams. We're going to leave you with the rocket on the pad here for just a little bit. But I hope I'll have a lot more time. We do have a 4-hour launch window to be able to get you guys. Hopefully we see a launch today because this is amazing. This is the nicest day we've had out here. So we're really hoping that we do have the opportunity to see a launch today. So stand by as we get more information here from the teams. But I'm going to take just a quick little fiver, but we'll leave you guys with beautiful views of this rocket in stunning 4K. We'll be right back.
Dice que va a averiguar a ver qué es lo que pasa y que vuelve con esto, que hay 4 horas de oportunidad de lanzamiento todavía, así que nos deja con las imágenes estas en 4K, que no tenemos obviamente nosotros 4K, pero sí. Ya lo veíamos. A ver qué es lo que están diciendo. La misión va con tiempo retrasada, dice Champion. Bueno, Puede haber un pequeño retardo del streaming, pero en realidad estamos en directo. ¿En esas 4 horas pueden lanzar en cualquier momento? Sí. Obviamente van a tener que poner una cuenta regresiva. Tim lo va a actualizar. Me imagino que nos vamos a enterar. Por ahora, bien, voy a tomar un momento. Voy a tomarme un... ¿Qué hora es? Uy, no, tengo que tomar mis medicamentos. Es la hora de mis medicamentos. Así que voy a ir a tomarlos ahora. Pablo Rumi dice, bueno, si puede poner el video en 1.25. Sí, cómo no. Para repetirlo. Vamos a ponerlo.
The rocket, the thing that takes the rocket from horizontal to...
Ahí. Y vamos a poner que estamos haciendo un replay, ¿no?
How are they doing this? I mean, we are T minus 1 minute 30 seconds.
Se viene 1.25, a ver.
I can't believe this. Trying to do a little extra bonus cam action here for us.
Alarm. Abort, abort, abort. We have these 2 PHSs at 1700 PSI.
Abort, abort, abort.
Aborting.
You heard it, guys. We have an abort. We will stand by for more information on why that was.
Abort actions at this time.
Bueno, yo no vi nada raro, ¿no? Vamos de nuevo. Donde pedían 1.25, a ver.
Rock. No.
How are they doing this?
Esto es un tema de YouTube y del streaming, ¿eh?
I can't believe this. They're going for it already. Like, how are they doing this?
¡Volvió el mega rompeprecios!
Ya puedo perder. Acaba de colocar un nuevo contador. Aquí está. 9:04:20 PM, hora del Pacífico. Hay nueva hora, hay nuevo intento, ¿eh? Vamos a ver nuestro propio T0, para que lo vean. Por mis medicamentos y vuelvo en unos minutos.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. And if those of you that didn't read the little thing where my face now is, if you couldn't tell, and if you haven't checked our T0 time, we do have a new T0 time. So the teams are going for another launch attempt in today's 4-hour launch window. So the local T0 time is actually 4:20 Pacific Daylight Time PM, which is 42 minutes, and I'm going to wait for it. And 42 seconds from this exact moment. Lots of 4s and 2s. Mary Liz Bender is going to be very happy. Anyone else that's a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's got to make you happy. So yeah, we're 42 minutes away from the next launch opportunity of Firefly Alpha. Look at again, take a moment to just gander at how beautiful the sky is. I really hope this thing takes off. And the later in the day we get here, the more beautiful that blue sky gets. I think, you know, the rocket just might... We don't actually have any official word yet on what caused the scrub, but, you know, they're getting quite close in the terminal count. So as soon as we have information on what caused that scrub, we will update you guys. But the good thing is, you know, maybe it was just the rocket wanting to put on a better show and be in prettier light. That's at least the photographer and me speaking. That's probably exactly what it is, at least on my end. So how have you guys been? I hope you guys didn't miss me too much. We shifted some stuff around here because the sun is starting to get lower and lower out here in California. So we're starting to get more and more heavily shaded. Or I wanted to make sure I was in the shade, not getting too sunburned. All right, so let's go ahead and answer a few more of your guys' questions here. Let's see. So yeah, as you see too in our little prompt here, after the first abort here, which was 38 minutes ago, the teams have been able to get another new T0 time for another launch attempt at 4:20. So really exciting. That gives me a sigh of relief, honestly, because I feel like it came up out of nowhere for us. Like, I feel like we were all ready to go, and all of a sudden we're in the last like 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm just ready for this. You know, this is good for me. I don't know if they did it for me, and again the lighting. I'll stop talking. Let's see here. Let's look through a few more. Let's see. I don't really want to get into too much speculation here from people, so actually, I have a fun thing. We did have a lot of questions, and I realized, honestly, the best way to answer some of these questions about this vehicle is to actually just go to a little website. I do this trick a lot. Little website, but this time it's not everydayastronaut.com. This time it's firefly.com, and clicking on their alpha link. Their website's amazing, but they actually look at this. They even have a way to be able to see the inside of their engine, of their rocket and stuff like that. So I actually forgot the payload of this vehicle. The payload capability is over a metric ton, 1,170 kilograms. Like I said, this is at the upper end of a small sat launch vehicle. That's like getting awfully close to medium class. Which please remind me, chat, or if anyone has information. I forget where that officially starts. I don't remember if it's 2,000, 2,500, or what it is to get into medium class. Or maybe it's 4,000. I don't actually recall off the top of my head. But that's definitely in the upper end of the small sat launchers, especially in this new crop. And that's on a 28.5 degree inclination. So that'd be like if you're launching from Kennedy Space Center, that's how much performance it have. If you're launching to SSO, so sun synchronous orbit or a polar orbit, that does decrease to 745. That's normal for all rockets to take a performance hit when they're not flying, straight due east. They're not taking into account the full rotation of the Earth. And like we said, today's mission is actually flying retrograde, so it's actually flying beyond SSO, so backwards, dude. In relation to the rotation of the Earth. So that's 745 kilograms. Again, today's flight has about 35 kilograms on board, so you can tell they're definitely not putting a ton of payload onto this vehicle for its inaugural orbital flight. So, yeah, again, this website is amazing. I can't recommend if you want these stats on this vehicle. And again, 322 seconds of specific impulse in a vacuum is pretty impressive for a tap-off engine. So yeah, and same with almost 300 for the Reaver. So that extra expansion ratio, the longer nozzle on the Lightning engine in the upper stage does allow it to be a little bit more efficient in the vacuum of space. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's, again, shout out to that website, firefly.com, and then click on alpha or /alpha. You can get all those things that you've been asking me about, and hopefully that helps. That's a good reminder for me. 1170 is its payload capability. Again, pretty impressive. So All right. Yeah. So again, we're basically at this point just awaiting more information, and hopefully we receive an update from the teams here relatively soon, and that will give us some information on, you know, maybe we won't receive an update on why exactly they screw up, but the important thing, the most important thing to me is that they're go for another attempt here in 37 minutes. So yeah, this is again, thanks to all of you that have become members, that have you know, just helped with today and asking really good questions. We'll take to air whatever we can with your comments and stuff like that too. So thanks to all of you who make that possible. I gotta say thanks to people like 55 Chevy Guy _ Steve. Thanks for the great and informative videos.
Le bajamos el volumen justamente porque, bueno, Tim habla demasiado. Tim está haciendo el streaming oficial de la fábrica.
I'm so thankful to have people working so hard along with me that make this stuff possible.
Firefly tiene mal el impulso masivo de la primera etapa. Ese número que listan es el valor atmosférico, dice Juanex. Escuchamos a Rubén. Dani, está muteado, sí, estaba muteado. Sí, y le re yo.
We've got some awesome cameras out here on base. A lot of 4K, you know, obviously the 4K pad cameras that are also going to be recording some slow-mo footage for you guys. But we also have some awesome tracking equipment here.
Tenemos a alguien, Carlos Recci. En realidad lo que dije cuando estaba muteado era justamente que ese lenguaje no es aceptable. Por eso Rubén borró tus mensajes. No sigas escribiendo así porque vas a ser suspendido del canal. Bueno, tomé mis medicamentos. Increíble, tengo que esperar 2 horas sin comer para tomarlos y luego por 1 hora no puedo comer. Y me olvidé hace 2 horas de haber hecho alguna colación. Estoy que me muero de hambre. Pero bueno, hasta dentro de 40 minutos no puedo tomarme un café, nada. ¿Por qué no escucho a Dani? No debería estar saliendo.
Yeah, so let's see here. Let's keep answering a few more of you guys' questions. And again, thank you to people like Jerwa that just became a member. Really, really appreciate that. Let's see. So this is a good question actually from Gerardo Neva. Thank you so much.
La máscara de Dalí dice, ¿qué le pasa, señor? ¿Se siente bien? Me siento estupendo, sí. Oski Gamar pregunta si el cohete es nuevo. Este es el segundo intento de lanzamiento orbital de esta empresa con este cohete. El primer intento salió mal y tuvieron que detonarlo, tuvieron que explotarlo pasado unos minutos luego del lanzamiento. Pasar hambre va bien para la dieta, dice Adrián Bragaro. No me bromes. Te bancamos en el ayuno 40 minutos, Dani. Dice Pablo Rumi Vitar. Me viene bárbaro también, en serio. Voy a ver si conecto la cámara trasera que no están dando. A ver.
So what that means is these vehicles have helium that keeps the tanks at pressure. We've talked about a few times on the show now today that the tank pressure is an extremely important thing because you have a lot of dynamic systems that are all at play here, and especially when the rocket starts to fly, you have liquids draining out of a tank, but obviously that could create a void. So you have to backfill with gas, gaseous propellants or a gaseous inert gas. You have to backfill as the liquid drains out of it. Imagine if I took this bottle of water and if I turned it upside down and let it pour out, there's going to be air needs to fill those gaps of where this is not sponsored for small water, by the way. Yeah, the air would fill the gaps of the water bottle, and you'll see that if you're pouring water out, it'll glug, 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 glug. That's air shooting back up to the system.
Qué increíble esa vista, ¿eh? Me encanta.
Forced out of a tank, you have to backfill and provide gas back into those regions so the tank maintains pressure, so you don't have the tank getting like crushed or anything like that, because that's actually what would happen if you drained it without backfilling it. So they backfill it with helium, and helium is good for a few reasons. Number one, it's inert, meaning it will not react with the fuel or the oxidizer. It will not cause any problems with combustion. And the number two reason is it's extremely lightweight and undense, and so it's easy to pack a lot of it into a small COPV, or a composite overwrapped pressure vessel, which is a high.
Y ponemos la nueva cámara, la otra.
That allows them to be able to stuff just an insane amount of helium in these little tanks, and then they can just vent a little bit of it out, and because it's so sparse, it expands and it can fill these voids, and that's why helium is used for that most often. There's also, sometimes they'll use nitrogen as also an inert gas, but it's not, you can't compress it as much and make it fill those voids as easily. So yeah, so that's actually a good thing. You do want a sparse gas when you're trying to fill a large volume. You might know, hydrogen tanks, for example, on say SLS or Delta IV Heavy.
Ya están informando por qué abortaron. Dice que hubo una caída en la presión de helio de la segunda etapa, ¿eh? Y lo que están haciendo es justamente reciclando las operaciones, o sea, volver a hacer un nuevo intento. Estamos a 30 minutos aproximadamente, 31 del nuevo intento. Nulfo Sierra, muchas gracias por haber estado. Gracias por esos saludos, ¿eh? Sí, entiendo. Es tardísimo también en muchos lugares.
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, why the whole vehicle isn't frosty white at all times. Maybe it's too warm out here, but you can see it there in that shot, which is pretty cool. So let's see. This is again from Cadber, wanting to know a little bit more about the tap-off cycle. We have talked about it a handful of times.
Creo que es el momento de quienes están chateando. Suscritos al canal también, ¿no? Suscríbanse al canal. Acabamos de poner el chat exclusivo para suscriptores. Un minuto. Tienen que estar suscritos para poder chatear. Si no se suscribieron, bueno, los invitamos a que se suscriban para seguir en el chat interactivo. Así en español, preguntan, todo el mundo le responde. Así que Juan Cusa pregunta cómo me lleva el tratamiento. Bien. Les cuento. No es la idea, ¿eh? No es la idea hablar de esto. Para eso tenemos el otro canal, Desorbitados. Le voy a dejar un poquito el volumen a Tim. ¿De qué se trata el tratamiento? Bueno, le voy a la gente que no está enterada les cuento. Me operaron, me encontraron un tumor. Se llama cáncer anaplásico tiroideo. Es muy raro, es rarísimo, es muy agresivo. Tuve la suerte de que pudieron hacerme un análisis en Estados Unidos a nivel genómico. Descifraron el genoma y las mutaciones que tiene. Y gracias a eso encontramos que hay un medicamento que es de tratamiento directo. No es quimioterapia. Por suerte no estoy teniendo efectos secundarios, que es la parte más importante. ¿Por qué? Porque eso me permite seguir con el tratamiento. Los resultados, los primeros resultados, recién lo vamos a saber dentro de un mes y medio, que me puedan volver a hacer una nueva tomografía o un nuevo PET scan, que es una tomografía con positrones, para compararla con la anterior que me hicieron hace prácticamente un mes, antes de iniciar el tratamiento. Y es donde vamos a saber cuál es el progreso, cuál es la reacción y cuál podría llegar a ser el pronóstico. Por ahora he tenido algunos efectos secundarios chicos, como algún dolor de cabeza, me duele obviamente donde tengo todavía el resto del tumor, me duele un poco algún ganglio, tengo fatiga, digo, pero nada que no sea sobrellevable, ¿no? Por suerte, ¿no? La voz, bueno, mañana tengo otorrino el laringólogo, vamos a ver qué es lo que propone, porque evidentemente también el estudio de eso surgió que la cuerda vocal izquierda está afectada por los restos del tumor, así que bueno, seguimos con muchas ganas y gracias al apoyo que he tenido de ustedes, pude comenzar el tratamiento en tiempo y forma, porque, bueno, eso es una historia larga, no la vamos a hacer ahora, ¿no? Pero les agradezco enormemente el apoyo que hemos recibido. No tuve COVID. Renato, no tengo contactos con nadie. Estoy aislado acá en el estudio, en mi casa. No, las tomografías no duelen, no se sienten. No se me quede en una máquina que parece un tubo, parece el portal de Stargate y no duele nada. Lo que pasa es que no puedes hacerlo todos los días porque de todas maneras se está irradiando. Ojalá que sí, Adrián. Ojalá que sea como decís. Soy tu padre. Your father. ¿Qué? Lo sigo diciendo, ¿no? Los amigos, ustedes que son mis amigos, que son mi familia, la familia, han hecho algo increíble para lograr de que hoy esté acá. La verdad, y los médicos han sido algo increíble. Y las casualidades que se han dado para que todo esto suceda. Son 25 minutos del nuevo intento. Muchas gracias, Rudy, por el mensaje. No me molesta. Lo único que hoy me está molestando es no contar con el 100% de la voz para poder entregarle todo, tal cual como toda la gente del canal espera cuando pone el canal. Pero bueno, sí, estoy pudiendo hablar mucho mejor de lo que sucedía hace un mes. Ni que hablar. No lo sabemos, Rubén. Ojalá que con el tiempo mejores al 100%. Creo que lamentablemente eso no va a ser posible, pero vamos a esperar un poco todavía para hablar del tema porque no tenemos, la verdad, cualquier conjetura que hagamos es futurología.
Tom Marcusic said they don't do that. So that makes me just go, how can you lower the temperature without changing your fuel to oxidizer ratio? So they've obviously developed something pretty cool by being able to come right off the manifold right there. Right off the injector face center, right into, it's pretty magic. This is actually a good question here from Wigan Creative. Is the black paint preventing cross formation? That is not black paint. It is carbon composite, it's carbon fiber. That's basically, I'm not going to say raw carbon fiber, but it is actually a really fine carbon fiber. And it's just, carbon composite, you end up with all those
Siempre a veces todo tiene un porqué, todo un aprendizaje. Y las cosas cuando pasan, pasan de una manera y es por algo. Es verdad. Es verdad. Sinceramente, digo, a veces uno dice, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué esto? ¿Por qué justo me toca a mí? No lo sé, lo que sí sé es que tengo 45.000 amigos. Nada. Tengo 45.000 familiares, que son ustedes, que me están apoyando, además de la familia, además de los amigos que han aparecido, que estaban desaparecidos, muchos de ellos por cosas de la vida, que uno a veces deja de verse, y en este momento han aparecido a dar un gran apoyo, ¿verdad? De todo tipo de apoyo, cosa que uno a veces no se esperaba, y uno se replantea las cosas, el vivir el día a día, el disfrutar cada día, disfrutar todos los días, porque a veces, y lo dije la otra vez, uno piensa en lo que va a ser la semana que viene, en lo que va a comprar el mes que viene cuando cobre el sueldo, en metas que son para mañana, para pasado, y no nos damos cuenta que realmente lo que estamos viviendo es esto. Hoy, lo que yo disfruto de esto de estar con ustedes no tiene precio. Lo que disfruto cuando terminemos esto, y estoy con mi familia tampoco, y a veces no nos damos cuenta del valor que tiene esto, el momento actual. Carlos Rechi dice, no me deja renovar. No sé a qué te refieres, Carlos.
So in the U.S. you fly over the ocean. So if you're on the East Coast, you can fly eastwardly. You can fly in a low inclination orbit, meaning you can fly
Siempre sonríe.
about 51.
¿Cómo no voy a sonreír?
5 degrees, but at some point in Florida you start actually running. If you go too far north, you start running into New York City and all those places. So you do have to fly at an inclination, New York inclination again. If you're flying due east, 0 degrees. If you're on the equator, you would be going right around the equator.
Y no se acuerda la contraseña, dice.
90 degree inclination would be going up and down over the poles. That'd be a 90 degree inclination. 180 degree inclination would be going backwards, around the equator. So 51.6.
Estamos lejos, Lu, de tener la voz de antes. Viene volviendo. Sí, trato de hablar un poco más. Sale muy ronca. Yo supongo que mañana el otorrino me va a dar indicaciones para la fonoaudióloga. Así retomamos. Y espero mejorar con ejercicios que no he hecho más que ejercicio de respiración. Gracias a Dios. Perro. Tengo 2 perros en casa. ¡Wow! Apareció Marcos. La voz de FM. Bueno, sí, se fue la voz de FM. La que mejor me sale es esta, sí. Bueno, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Sinceramente, cuando me enteré de lo que tenía, lo que menos me preocupaba, evidentemente, era el tema de la voz, ¿no? O viene gente o pidieron algo, seguramente. O se fue alguien. Porque cuando se va la gente de casa, los perros también ladran.
We're still awaiting more information here, but yeah, I mean, at this point we are closing in on that, so we'll wait to hear more information, and hopefully, they're obviously the teams are always watching weather, watching all the systems at play, so we'll see how the rest of this goes. So, let's see. Lab Padre, holy cow, huge thank you to Lab Padre and the Lab Padre community and all those at Starbase. It's fun being out here. I wish you guys were out here too. Thank you so much, Lab Padre. That is insanely generous. Holy crap.
No sabe nada, Tim, de lo que está sucediendo, ¿eh? Está leyendo mensajes, leyendo sus donaciones. Un streaming con los perros. Pon en directo Marcos. Marcos, ¿querés estar? Vamos arriba. Lo está pidiendo la gente, ¿eh?
So thank you so much, Lab Padre and Lewis and the whole team there. Thank you guys for watching and tuning in. That really, really means a lot. So let's see here. Let's see. This is from Goat Pilot. Wants to know: are they using some sort of ram air to cool at higher Mach? Can we get scramjet rocket engines, please? 7,500 mile an hour cowl hood. So no, unfortunately, for the most part, you have to realize going fast in an atmosphere is very hard to use that to cool anything. As you speed up in the atmosphere, even if it's in the upper atmosphere, as you start to compress molecules.
Marcos está llegando a la península, dice. En la siguiente. Buenísimo. La siguiente va a ser Starlink en un ratito, ¿no? Se lo van a juntar, me parece.
I don't know if you can use a cowl on high speed hyper speed vehicles to be able to fly and to cool things. And frankly, the problem is too, once it gets into a certain altitude and things like that, the rockets,
No,
you can't use air
lo cambiaron.
and get heat away from it.
Lo cambiaron para el 13.
Ups. But to use convection to cool things, like a lot of us are used to fans cooling things here at sea level or on Earth in our atmosphere. We can use fans to cool things because you can blow air across it. You'll transfer heat from the object through the air. That's convection. But in space, and frankly, a much better way to do things is using liquid cooling. Because if you think about it, the rocket is actually, it has liquid propellant, really cold liquid propellant, or even the normal RP1 flowing through the engine. Think about, I don't know if any of you have like high-end gaming computers and use liquid cooling. You're familiar with how you can basically put up a radiator. You can flow liquid through the core of the processor and then back out to the radiator to wick that heat away. But liquids are really good, transfers heat very well. So that's basically what they're doing with the rocket engine. They're going to be flowing a lot of propellant from these propellant tanks into the engine anyway. So what they do is they flow that propellant through the walls of the engine first. As it's going from the pumps, and then they literally have these little channels through the nozzle and through the walls of the engine. And then that goes into the combustion chamber after that. It goes back up the wall. So it's
Ya la corregimos, ¿eh?
Down the nozzle, back up the nozzle. They'll cool the whole nozzle, the throat, up the...
Lo pasaron para el día 13. El lanzamiento que teníamos hoy.
And flow into the engine from there through a manifold.
¿Qué llevaste cohete al espacio? 35 kilos de carga, nada. En realidad, Rosana Chávez preguntaba si no hay otro lanzamiento. Quedó para el día 13, o sea, el día 14 de las 2:10 UTC. Muy temprano en Europa, tarde en América, medianoche prácticamente. Albert Frank, ya corregimos. Lo cambiaron para pasado mañana. Luz, no cancelaron luz.
Because again, liquid oxygen is extremely cold when it hits that pump, the liquid oxygen pump. If you don't prepare that pump for all of a sudden,
Teóricamente estamos a 14 minutos, ¿eh?
Cryogenic propellant, you might crack or break or ruin the pump. So they have to first start flowing propellant through the engine to get it thermally conditioned for the cold temperatures. Isn't that weird? When we think about rockets, we think about the hot temperatures. We think about the crazy flames and exhaust shooting out of the flaming end of the rocket. But really, it's the cold that they have to thermally condition the rocket engine for. I think that's super cool. All right, so we do have an update that they will be moving the T0 time to, did I hear correctly? Okay, they are moving their T0 time to 7 p.m. That is the absolute bag will get that updated. There we go. We already got it updated. T-minus 2 hours and 51 minutes is our official new
No.
right at the end of their 4-hour
No.
launch. Again, their window opened up at 3 p.m. Pacific time, which I think is plus 7, 15, 22.
Complicadísimo esto ahora, ¿eh?
So now we're moving
Gente,
into a new T0 at the end of the launch window, their 4-hour launch window, right?
Hay un nuevo T0 al final de la ventana de lanzamiento. Dentro de 2 horas 51 minutos. Se complicó esto, ¿eh? Vamos a actualizarlo.
Thank you guys for tuning in. This is still just the absolute dream for me, just to be here. The fact that I can actually update, I love it because so many times when I'm, doing launch commentaries, there's a lot of speculation, and we don't have the answers, and we don't know. We're just like, well, maybe the teams are doing X, Y, and Z, and we really have no idea. But it's fun for me to actually tell you, like, they're working on, the helium pressure was the first scrub, and now maybe they're working whatever. Maybe they're looking for weather. We don't actually have the updates. I'm bragging about having information, and I currently don't have information to brag about, but the fact that we actually know the T0 time is now 7 p.m., so it's at the very end of their 4-hour launch window. So let's go ahead and I'll answer a few more questions just to, answer questions. Actually, you know what, Andrew? At some point, let's queue up. There is that video that they have about the second launch attempt. Maybe we'll queue that up. Let me know when that's ready to go to air, and I'll answer one more question. I don't remember. I think it was originally called... I don't remember what the title of that video is, but it's got Tom Marcusic in it talking about their second launch attempt. So we'll queue that video up. It's actually, the teams that make these videos are very fortunate. Yeah, I think we're getting ready to queue up that video. I'll let you know when we're good to go there. So let's see. Operator Unit 60 or 60 says, is it weird to be excited about going back to the moon? No, that's the whole point. That's like not the entire reason humans are going back to the moon, but absolutely that is a totally fair and expected thing, is to be excited that humans are returning to the moon. And again, Firefly actually has a vehicle that's going to be scouting for Artemis landing sites as a commercial lander. It's an uncrewed lander, but it's called Blue Ghost, and that vehicle is actually one of the commercial programs that NASA has enlisted to land on the moon, scope it out, see how it is as a potential landing site for humans for the Artemis program. And it's stuff like this commercial partnership with NASA, all these cool opportunities that are cropping up. I just love seeing that. I love seeing a company like this make a lunar lander that's going to help us know if a certain location is safe to land on the moon. That's really cool. But more on that in a second. Let's watch that video here from that talks about the first launch attempt and the second launch attempt.
Commit to launch.
Achieving first flight is a huge milestone for a rocket.
Isael Fortanelli saluda, muchas gracias, dice tu voz ha mejorado mucho. Sí, ha mejorado, sí. Pablo dice, me marea cuando empiezan los horarios UTC. Es la única manera de poder hablar el mismo idioma cuando estamos en distintos lugares del mundo. No hay forma de equivocarnos hablando así. Otra vez resetearon el reloj, sí. Van a intentar lanzar al final de la ventana de lanzamiento. ¿Qué es la ventana de lanzamiento? Bueno, es el tiempo que tienen para poder lanzar entre determinada hora y otra hora final. A eso se le llama ventana de lanzamiento. Bueno, tenían 4 horas, tuvieron una especie de scrap, o sea, una pérdida de presión de nitrógeno en el tanque superior. Se presurizan los tanques, o sea, se llenan a presión también con nitrógeno para poder tener presión para que vayan a las bombas, en este caso el oxígeno líquido. Lamentablemente La nueva hora de lanzamiento está sobre el final de la oportunidad, dentro de 2 horas y 50 minutos prácticamente, que es lo que dice nuestro reloj en rojo allí abajo. La ventana tiene que ver con la órbita, dice Pablo. Bueno, muchas veces puede ser con la mecánica de la órbita, con el tráfico de satélites que haya, con el tráfico de otros lanzamientos, inclusive hasta con el tráfico aéreo. Pero en este caso, creo que la ventana la tienen en base a un tiempo que ellos deben haber pedido y que lo van a aprovechar al máximo para solucionar los problemas que tienen. Así que vamos a dejar esto abierto. Yo voy a seguir en el chat. No voy a estar acá hablando. No me hace bien estar hablando continuamente. Es más, en 10 minutos es mi hora en la cual puedo cenar. Así que voy a aprovechar y voy a cenar ahora. Pero sigo en el chat. Sigo acá al pleno. ¿Sí? Seguimos a full. Vamos a seguir hasta el final. En cuanto haya alguna novedad, vuelvo tratando a charlar un poco más, ni hablar. Me encantan las imágenes de Tim, la verdad. Disfrutemos un poco de la música mientras, ¿ok?
of most lightning strikes. So they definitely have to be extremely, extremely cautious out there at KSC. But I don't have a good answer for sure. Yeah. Oh, so by the way, Philip in our Discord says it's the TEB, not the T, that makes it green. So it must be the boring maybe makes it green and not the aluminum. You're right, because aluminum, you don't see it burn green. You're absolutely right. You don't see aluminum burn green because you see aluminum get ejected out of solid rocket boosters, and that's not green. Those don't burn green. So you're absolutely right. It can't be the aluminum. It must be the boring that burns green, or the boron, or however you actually say it. But yeah, thank you for that update. I really appreciate it, Philip. You are helping me stay smart. That's what I love about this whole thing. Is we have communities out here. We're all learning together. I'm no expert. I just am a very curious individual that just loves to learn and then try to teach you guys what I've learned. That's basically my career. And it's so fun that there's a community of people out there, and it's so fun. I mean, I have just even being here on base, we're connected and dialed into a NASA infrastructure, and people come out and they'll, I get to talk to actual experts that literally work on spacecraft and hardware, and talking with the teams at Firefly here. I've literally been talking to engineers, and I get to learn and absorb as much information as I can. It's just an absolute pleasure. So yeah, there you go. Boring is what burns green. So I'm learning. Hopefully you guys are learning too. Jeff Duncan, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's see. This is a good question here from Ryan's Random Videos, asking, "Hey Tim, what would happen if the rocket engine had two failures, or if the booster had two rocket engines fail?" So obviously, at some point, you can't. If you again, from my interview with Tom Mercusic a year ago, he kind of said, like, at some point you have to chisel out and weed out the nice to have things. You can't design a rocket with 10 different variants of it. It'd be nice to have this, because at some point you end up with so much pork and so much weight, you don't even have a vehicle capable of making it to orbit, let alone carrying anything else to orbit with it. So you really have to trim the fat, and you really have to make these things lean. That's why they're using carbon composite structures. That's why they're using a high-performance tap-off cycle engine. It's because you can't just always be going, what if, and at some point you just got to make the system reliable. And so that's what they focus on. They focus on, I think near the certain regimes you might be able to have one of the 4 engines shut down, but I don't think there's really much consideration or ability of 2 engines shut down, just because you might not be able to have the appropriate and the proper amount of thrust to be able to continue on the way to orbit, get the acceleration you need out of the first stage. Obviously, the upper stage is only a single engine, so you have to have, you definitely have to have that performing well and reliable in order to achieve orbit. So again, kind of some of those things are nice to have things, but I don't know the answer on if they could lose 2 or not. So yeah. Let's see. This is from MB Hutek wants to know, so if this mission is to the black, will that mean the next mission will be called Tell 'em I Ain't Coming Back?
En realidad están pidiendo que...
I'm not sure what their next mission will be called, but I like it. That's a very, very good observation.
Traduzca. En realidad, Tim está contestándole a la gente que pregunta en su chat algunas de las preguntas, a veces que tienen relación con esto, a veces que no. No tiene mucho sentido. En realidad, lo que tenemos que hacer es esperar ahora a la nueva hora de lanzamiento, que ya la corregimos.
Was also used to light the Pratt & Whitney J58 and then the SR-71, the infamous and amazing SR-71, one of the fastest plane or jet, I guess, ever to fly with that beautiful engine. There was a lot of cool things. To start up those engines, I'm pretty sure they had to use an
Nico, hay para rayos. Acá, mira, encima de las torres de luz. Aquí hay uno, aquí hay otro. Muy posiblemente, bueno, acá se ve. No te olvides que este cohete es bajo realmente,
But yeah, so okay, so let me answer this one more question, then we do have one more update. Let's see, in talking with Firefly, have you heard when they plan on building up Slick 20 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station? They had a groundbreaking ceremony in 2019 for the pad and factory outside of KSC, but nothing since. No, I don't know what their current status is there. I think, again, the teams are being conservative and smart about making sure they can get to orbit before they totally continue on and build everything else out. But it is, I forgot actually that they had Slick 20 as an option. So I know that is absolutely in their plans to have multiple launch locations, and that's definitely one of them in the books. But as far as current building plans and things like that, I don't have any information myself. Maybe that's something I can get an update on here at some point. But remind me again, Andrew, if you want to repeat one more time.
Ok, me dice que se parece al Falcon 9. Bueno, sí, pero es mucho más chico y tiene mucha menos capacidad. Puede llevar 1000 y pocos kilos a la órbita cuando son 20 toneladas que lleva él, 18 toneladas. Un Falcon 9. Bueno, ahora sí. Ahora sí, cancelaron.
An update here, but we will stand by for an official statement. But yep, okay, so let's keep answering some questions here from you guys. What does Alpha's second stage do to get passivated after completing deployment? Now that's a good question that I do not know the answer to. Juan, man, you are hitting me hard. So the idea is a lot of times rockets, you know, after they deploy something, the upper stage is still in orbit.
Está cancelado, ahora sí. Lo dice, nuevo intento mañana. La ventana de lanzamiento se abre mañana. Vamos a ver cuándo va a ser. Así que, lamentablemente, esto está cancelado.
Launch pad, launch location, and a beautiful vehicle. Wow. Yeah, let's take in those views for a minute. Here's what we're actually going to do. I'm actually going to take just a quick break here myself and wait.
¿Qué es lo que sigue? Van a vaciar el combustible, van a poner el cohete en seguridad, lo van a bajar, van a reparar la válvula esa que seguramente esté mal y bueno, habrá un nuevo intento mañana, así que vamos a ver si Tim dice algo más, pero lo dudo, ¿no? Gracias, Juanse, gracias por estar ahí también, como siempre, querido Juanse. Bueno, siempre lo decimos, ¿no? Es preferible una cancelación como hoy y no que esto salga mal, ¿no? Y se destruya el cohete con lo que vale, con el trabajo que tiene de la carga y todo lo demás. Así que, bueno, ahí vemos que están justamente quitando presión. Sí, tanto tiempo por nada y bueno, es lo que pasa. A veces queremos ver un lanzamiento y pasa esto. Mañana el streaming va a estar en el canal. Apenas sepamos la hora exacta, lo vamos a poner y lo vamos a transmitir, como hacemos siempre. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Gracias a los miembros VIPs, los VIP Plus, los moderadores, los que están suscritos, los que chatean, los que no, en fin, todos ustedes que nos están mirando ahora. Nos vemos mañana entonces. Suscríbanse al canal, activan las notificaciones, todas las notificaciones, y de esa manera no se van a perder nada de todo lo que transmitimos con respecto a la ciencia y el espacio y los lanzamientos espaciales. Un abrazo enorme. Muchísimas gracias. Nos vemos.